baseball season starts this Friday. This Friday, I'll be at Globe Life Field up in Arlington working for Flow Baseball. But the Texas Longhorns, Arkansas Razorbacks, who kick off the season to start it off Friday night, Vanderbilt will be there. TCU will be there. Oklahoma State will be there. And Missouri will be there. And there is going to be a lot of quality in Arkansas. Arkansas is a team that you're going to have to pay attention to because they are young, but they are loaded, and they're going to continue to grow. But there are so many changes that are starting to happen in the game. And I want to start on the major league level because we've had this conversation before, but now it's being implemented as the rules have changed as we go. The new rule regarding the shift. You know, we've talked about this before, and I kept saying, why aren't guys bunting? Why wouldn't you just bunt to get a hit because you want to get on base? And it kind of goes back to our conversation we had earlier when we talked to Gene Watson. We were talking about the lost art of the stolen base, where the beautiful running of the triple. None of that is happening because now guys want to hit for average. Want to hit for power. They're trying to lift the ball out of the yard. Home runs bring money, and so they're trying to figure out how they can get involved with that. But they also have created more strikeouts, times of the game. So things have changed. So when you shift, that means that guys can play like a rover position in the outfield. A second baseman can get out there deep. Shortstop normally pulls all the way over to the second base side. You move your third baseman to the shortstop position. There's so many different ways that this can happen. And then you reverse it on the other side when you want to play a pull hitter to the left-handed side of the field, right-handed batter. So now they have decided that you cannot shift anymore.
No.
You can't play with a shift, so you have to have two position players on each side of the diamond, and you have to have both feet on the dirt. You can't play a deep second base or a deep shortstop or a deep third base. You have to play with your feet on the dirt, which – to me, I'm like, come on, man. I'm playing on the right side of the field. Let me go ahead and play deep when I want to, and that way I can figure that out. But no, you have to have both feet on the dirt, which is new to the game. And how it's going to be enforced, if the hitting team reaches base and the runners advance on a hit ball under the violation, the game proceeds without penalty. If the play of any other consequences, an out, a sacrifice, the hitting team can either decide to accept the penalty, which is, like, what are we doing? Football? You going to throw a challenge flag at this? Or they can decline it and let the play stand, which is crazy to me. They've also decided that they want bigger bases out there.
Yeah.
3 more inches or bigger.
Hey, every inch counts.
Come on now.
Every man knows that.
We already know what that's
why
about.
I manscape.
Yeah. Got to get it all
Gotta
out
get it
there.
all out there, man.
So then they've decided that they're going to do that. So you start looking around, and we've seen this in softball before, and if you coached at a different level where you were coaching youth baseball or softball, you know that they've had this extra base on the backside. So when you're running to first base, you're not running into the first baseman. Okay. You're giving a base on the backside so you can be clear, there's no accidents. Well, now stealing bases is going to be different because you're going to be there a lot closer. There's going to be a lot of changes that are going with that. So it's going to be an adjustment period for all of the coaches and everyone else that are involved with it. But going back to the shift, what the league have seen over the years, league-wide, the batting average was down to 243. And that is the lowest since 1968.
Wow.
And I told you this before, Rod, but a lot of that goes back to what these coaches have, not these coaches, but a lot of these hitting instructors is teaching these guys to hit the ball out of the park, lift and separate, make sure. And nobody really cares about putting the ball in play near as much as we once did. I told you before, like the owners would come over and the GMs would be like, hey, Hardge, you learn how to hit that ball to right field yet? You stand behind that thing? We'd like to see you hit it the opposite way. That means you're going to cut down on those strikeouts. If I was playing in today's game, your boy would be something. I'm telling you, your boy would be something. That 243,
for real.
Give me more money, more money. But, yeah, you start to look at that. And it also shows a lack of plate discipline as well because the game has changed so much. And now you want to try to figure out what is this going to do to the game. Me personally, I believe now that you don't have a shift and you got bigger bases, I think the runs are going to be more. I think the game is going to be more exciting for some of these people. I think guys are now going to see their averages start to go up. As I said, 243 across the league is a terrible batting average. And if you were batting that back in the day, you wouldn't be even playing the game that much.
Gone.
You would be out of the game. So now you're going to make it all happen to where the game is going to be, number one, there's going to be more runs that are involved. You're going to see batting averages go up, and you're going to see more runners being driven in. This might be something that's beautiful for a guy like Yordan Alvarez if you're an Astros fan. You start looking at Joey Gallo, a guy that I get paid to hit the ball out of the park. Now Joey Gallo might go up there and actually have some watchable at-bats. He did change it a little bit when he went to the Dodgers, but now he has that opportunity. And the other thing that is being implemented is a pitch clock.
Yeah,
a
I like
pitch
that.
clock. Man, look.
Come on, man.
For a guy that has called some baseball games that have been 4.5 hours,
It's crazy.
this is something that I'm excited about. This is something that I'm looking at and saying, okay, how does this going to work as you start to work on holding runners on first base, doing different things to try to change the pace in which you are pitching? Because a lot of times that's the cat and mouse of the game, right?
Agreed.
That's how the strategy is involved. So all of that is about to change. In the minor leagues, it has been more effective because it has sped the games up and actually done good in the minor leagues. We remember when we talked to Mike Capps, the voice of the Round Rock Express, he was talking about that. Games are being done in like 2.5 hours when before you were out there for 3.5, maybe 4 hours. They were cutting the games almost in half. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
Because you
That'd
know
be
as
great,
well as
man.
I do, especially for the casual baseball fan, it's something that you're like, oh, yeah, I'll be able to watch this. I'll be able to do this because it's not taking up my entire time.
Yeah.
But the purist of the game are like, baseball is the one sport that has never had a time clock on it.
I know, but you got to be able to the problem with baseball is your fans are getting older, and therefore that's a bad thing. 50% of baseball fans
Correct.
are 55 and older.
Correct.
That's a bad thing. You got to start getting your demo of just a basic demo of your fans younger. And younger people only have the attention span of a goldfish. I'm not making that up. That is true. That's research. That's 9 seconds. You ain't got a lot
That's
of
why
time.
all the TikToks and all the videos,
Yeah, it's
they
quick.
try to make them quick.
It's quick, fast, man.
Yeah.
So I agree. And by the way, football games are just as long as baseball games. They are, but it's about the action in the game. So pace.
Right.
Pace is different than the length.
Pace
right?
is definitely
So the
is
motion, it ain't about the size of the boat, but the motion in the ocean.
Yeah.
Baseball, the motion in the ocean also sucks.
Sometimes.
Football's got better motion. Listen,
I
baseball.
did a 4.5 hour game. Remember I told you, I'm like, man, what am I going to talk about for that long?
Baseball actually has more action probably than football does.
Correct,
but
because
football,
everything is personal. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
But
happening
football's
every
able to
time.
present it a little bit better with the
Yeah.
pace of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you talk about taking someone to a game and repeat business of people coming back to more games,
Great point.
if you're like, man, I went with my kids, and by the third inning, they already want to go home. But if like, oh, now they want to go home in the seventh, and I'm like, well, no, this is the fun part. Watch it. We're going to finish the game. And you get through 9 innings, you're like, oh, man, we had a fun time
Yep.
because we watched the whole game. I want to go back now versus, man, that was a nightmare for 4 innings
Yeah.
because my kids melted
They were
down.
bored as
and
hell.
I'm bored now, too.
Ding,
'cause-
ding, ding, ding.
Totally agree.
And
the
like,
kids
I get
are
it.
the most important part.
kids are
Going
the
back
key.
to your part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to a Express game last year, and I was like, hey, guys, we're going to leave probably in the 7th inning. Right after the 7th inning stretch, we're going to start leaving.
Negotiating
yeah,
with
yeah,
terrorists.
yeah. I'm telling everybody.
I already
And the
told. I
next
already
thing-
told the valet to pull the car around.
Yeah. I ain't have no valet. I got good parking there. But as I was getting ready to do that, next thing I'd look up, and I'm like, we're already in the 7th inning. Like, it was happening so
Yeah,
fast.
that's good.
And I was like, well, we're going to stay for the whole thing now because I don't have to worry about getting the kids home for sleeping to get ready for school the next day. It's a lot that has gone into it, and it's the constant movement of the game made
Great
it
point.
easy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
action,
So
man. They
it's
need to be-
action.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
action
that's
of
what some of this is going to happen. And they can only throw the ball over to first base a certain amount of times. There's times with that. And there's only a couple times that you can disengage with the rubber, whether you're stepping off or coming back in or you're missing up sign. There's a lot of things you won't be able to shake off as many pitches during that time. You're going to have to go with what you feel, and it's going to speed up the game that way.
Interesting.
And that is the biggest thing for me the time of the game and how long the games are lasting.
Agreed.
For the attention span of not just the purists, but the novice too, right? Some of the guys, the casual people that want to, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I'm going to go up into the suite and watch the game. And next thing you know, the game is almost over. And then people are more, they're more in tune to sticking around instead of being drawn out. Beer sales are going to change too, because that's going to be one of the things too, because the game is going to be over a lot quicker. So beer salesmen are like, nah, man, keep the games long. People are going to be here.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to have to
Good
try
point.
to figure
I
it
didn't
out.
think about that, but you're right.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So those are some of the changes that are going to happen. There's more. The SEC came out with the new rule too. The same thing with the pitch count. But guys, you're going to have 20 seconds to pitch. Coaches are going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make a pitching change. You are not going to be able to stall in the game. You're going to have to make sure that your guys are prepared and ready to go before anything else.
You know, I like the moves, man. I think they, even if you're not going to stick with them permanently, why not just experiment with them? I love the NFL because I always say the NFL is one of the most experimental leagues on the planet. They'll change a rule, and then they'll gauge the public sentiment or the public response to it. They'll change the damn rule back.
Right.
They changed the damn catch rule 4 times.
Yeah, and they didn't even get it right in the Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
And they still ain't get it right. Exactly.
Right.
The NFL will change a rule. They will change rules year after year. They usually do it, and we talk about it all the time. I think more leagues should go, you know what, let's just tweak it. If it's bad, we'll go back the next year. Who cares?
Yeah, you got to make some changes.
Yeah, the NFL believes if it ain't broke, fix it anyway.
Yep.
That's what they believe. And honestly, it works for them.
Yeah, I always feel MLB, there's a lot of people, I'll watch a game start in the 7th inning.
Yep.
Just because you're like, I know how long the game is. And I can tell, I can go look at the score and go, oh, that one's 5-7. Let me flip over there because maybe they'll come back. Or if it's a blowout, I don't watch it at all. But you can go in those last innings. So there's part of it where it's like it may suck if you're only watching 7. If you're only watching 7 through 9, and it goes fast, and you're like, oh man, that was quick. But that just means I have to start watching earlier in the game. It doesn't necessarily take away the game. It doesn't take away the thing as bad as people are making it seem as does.
Yeah, because the NFL's dealing with the lack of attention span of Americans too. That's why they have the Red Zone channel. They decided to just cave in. They're like, you know what? We can't get people to watch the whole damn game. They want to tune in for when the team's getting ready to score or when it matters. They don't want to watch the whole damn drive. All right, screw it. Give them the Red Zone channel. And people love it. It's just about them. Oh, they've been ready to score? All right, give me that. I know people, they don't even watch games anymore. They just watch the Red Zone all day. And I'm like, that's what you do? Like, yeah, I watch 8 hours of Red Zone. It's awesome. I'm like,
you know why? Because most of the people have fantasy.
That's true.
Fantasy implications. Yeah. That's why they're watching the red zone.
I agree. Baseball's got fantasy.
Yeah, they do. But we ain't got, and we do have a red zone. The MLB box. We do have a lot of those.
When the team's getting ready to get a run in or something like that.
Certain situation.
Yeah. All right. I like the changes. I think they're necessary, but we'll see if they end up being successful.